It's easy, though, to use this spiritual farsightedness to justify our own behaviors from time to time. Say, well, I'm not as bad as they are. I'm not as bad as this person. I can do this. I'm okay. You think I'm not bad at all. You should see what this person is doing. It's like, I've done this before, driving down the road and say it's a 55 mile an hour zone. And I'm going like, say, 73, right? And I'm going over the speed limit. I'm kind of keeping my eyes out, hoping there's no cops around. And then a guy blows by me, and let's say he's going like 81 miles an hour, right? I'm like, I don't got anything to worry about, right? If there's a cop out here, that cop better get him before he gets me, because he's way worse than I am. I got it made now. I'm not nearly as bad as this guy going 81 and a 55. I'm only going 74 and a 55, failing to realize that both of us are breaking the law at that time. See, we're so focused on pointing out, I'm pointing out his bad behavior as if it somehow justifies my bad behavior. Spiritual farsightedness never justifies my behavior. Say, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why am I critical of other people and give myself a pass? Oh, you can't do this, but if you only understood what I was going through, you'd understand why I did that. But when you do that, that's totally inexcusable and unacceptable. Close with Matthew 7, verse 1. Jesus is speaking here, and he says, do not judge others, and you'll not be judged. For you'll be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you'll be judged. That's pretty heavy if we reflect on how we judge and criticize other people. Do I want God to judge me with the same critical spirit that I use to judge somebody else? Here he says the same standard that you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged. He goes on and says, why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you've got a log in your own eye? How can you think of saying to your friend, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye, when you can't see past the log in your own eye? You hypocrite. You hypocrite. First, get rid of the log in your own eye, and then you'll see well enough to deal with the speck in your friend's eye. Do we ever get so fixated on the speck in someone else's eye that we fail to realize that we have a log in our own eye? When I go to the eye doctor to get my eye exam, I want my eye doctor to have good vision. If he's looking in my eyes, I want his vision to be good. Now, it can be corrected vision, but I don't want him stumbling around the room. I don't want him poking in my eyeball if he can't see what he's doing. It's like you go and you correct your vision. In fact, my eye doctor has worse eye vision than I do, but yet his eyes are corrected, and he is then therefore able to help me to correct mine, but it started with him getting his vision corrected. See, before I can point out the flaw in someone else, I need to have the flaw pointed out in my own life. I need to work on the problem in my own life. And when I do that, and when I receive God's grace, when I receive God's mercy, it allows me to reflect that grace and mercy to other people. So I'm not simply trying to embarrass and point out and expose the speck in your eye. We're doing it out of love. We're doing it out of compassion. We're doing it to draw the person closer to God so that they can experience all that he has. We need to work on our problem first. See, Jesus is saying here, I want you to shift your focus. Shift your focus away from the speck in your friend's eye. Shift the focus away from pointing out the flaws in others and take a look at yourself, because there's a log you've been overlooking. There's a problem you've been overlooking, and I want you to take a closer look at that. He doesn't say you can't ever help them, but he says deal with your own log first. Deal with your own issue first. Deal with the thing in your life first. Final thing in your notes is that focusing on someone else's problem and not your own is hypocrisy. When I focus on your problem and fail to look at the problem in my own life, Jesus says, hypocrites, stop focusing on the speck and start focusing on the log. Stop focusing on them. Start focusing on yourself. We need some adjustments to our vision. We need a corrective lens to help me to see what God wants me to see. So if we have the feelings of being critical towards others, if we have the temptation to judge another person, if we have these feelings of unforgiveness that are rising up within us, focused on them and what they did and what they said and how they hurt me, we need to take our eyes off of them. We need to put our eyes on Jesus. We need to take our focus off of their issue and get the log out of my own eyes. I need to work on the problem that I'm dealing with in my own life, and I need to come then with humility before God and get healing and deliverance in my own life. And then and only then, when I've experienced His healing, His mercy, His grace, and His forgiveness, now I'm able to take that and reflect it to other people, not in a way that points out the flaw, but in a way that helps them to remove the speck that's in their eye as well. Because what good is it if I rip you apart with my words and you rip me apart? What do we end up with? We end up with two people who are ripped up and shredded and hurting and broken. You rip me up and I rip you up, and now we're both broken. Instead, we need to be people who bring healing, who bring forgiveness, who bring restoration, who speak words of encouragement, who speak words of forgiveness, who speak words of grace. If God has shown us so much favor, can't we take that and show it to somebody else? Can't we show somebody some mercy? Can't we give some forgiveness to somebody who's hurt us with one thing when God has forgiven us of hundreds of thousands of things that we have done in our lives? Can we not show this mercy to others? Can't we fight for justice instead? Can't we bring hope and keep our eyes on Jesus, the author and the finisher